Hey, welcome to Stocks, Tech, and Beer, where we crack a cold one and talk about some hot topics in stocks and technology. That's my first video ever. We'll see how it goes, see if I like it or if I don't, but we'll give it a go. Breaking all the rules. I've got my camera here leaning against a box of almond bars. I've got the sun setting just over there, kind of shining in my face. I'm sitting outside. It's raining on and off, but we'll see how it goes. Like I said, real life, we're going to let it go. We're trying to do too much editing to these videos. We'll see how it happens. But today I'm going to start with a controversial topic having to do with the COVID-19 pandemic. We'll get there in a minute, but first, if you like what you hear at any point, click the like button below or subscribe to my channel, and of course, comments are welcome. Today, I'm drinking a Heretic You Can't Handle the Juice. It's a hazy double IPA. Now, really get into these hazy IPAs over the past couple of years. I just like a little hoppy, a little citrus. You get the right mix, and it's pretty amazing. This is actually my second beer. Today, I did the first take and drank a great cinnamon baked pear sour. But let's see how this tastes. Yeah, just like a cinnamon baked pear would. It's amazing what they do with these sours these days, how they can make them taste like apple pie, Skittles, anything you can imagine. They can make beer that tastes like it, and this is drinking a cinnamon baked pear. It's really good. We'll give it probably, don't want to start out too high, but it is a good beer. We'll give it an 8.2 out of 10. But I hated the take. I kept doing this weird noise in my mouth, which I'm going to try not to do this time. We'll see if I accomplish that or not. I almost did it again. But this is the second one. It's 8.5% alcohol by volume, so it could get a little interesting by the end of this recording. We'll see how it's going. But, this is not bad. Heretic, it's a not mass produced, but it's not craft either. It's somewhere in between. You can get it on the East Coast, West Coast. You see it all across the country. But for what it is, definitely has a little flavor of a West Coast IPA, but it's got a good amount of juice, good amount of hops. I don't like it as much as I did the first sour that I had from Evil Town Brewing, but I'd give this one, we'll give it a 6.5 out of 10. It's definitely above average, nothing special, but I like it. I could see us being, a go-to beer if there's nothing else, real craft, real unique value. The Heretic Can't Handle the Juice is a good one if you're into the juicy IPAs. To be honest, this is the last beer I've got, so that's why I'm drinking it today. I had 2 beers left in the fridge before I started. Now I have none. We'll see how it goes. I didn't really want to drive 15 minutes to the nearest gas station to pick up a Steel Reserve Tallboy, which seems to be the drink of choice around here. I've seen more people drinking those Steel Reserves than anywhere else I've ever been in the country. Let me show you where I am. You'll be able to see him at the foothills of the Smoky Mountains. It's just absolutely beautiful. I'm here at a cabin at an Airbnb. You can see the mountains and the hills kind of through these trees. It's a better view from upstairs, but I'm in the basement level. But I can't complain for $60, $70 a night. My host, Tom and Michelle, they're great. I'm super friendly. I get breakfast every morning, just absolutely stuffed. Don't really eat anything till dinner. So big. And tomorrow they're bringing me to go kayaking down a river, so I'm super excited about that. It's gonna be awesome. I should do in 1 week while working, not nearly enough time to get it done. But what I like about it is there's just less people around, and at that point I believe there's less of a chance of contracting the COVID-19 virus, or the Rona, as all the kids are called it. It's definitely picked up its pace of spread now, and I saw, even though numbers were rising over the past few weeks, the deaths were still trending lower, but that may have reversed this Friday. I hate to see a lost human life, so it's never good. The COVID-19 crisis has done more to advance technological trends than just about anything else over the past 10 years, or maybe 20, maybe ever. People are now social distancing, staying at home, using more social media, streaming Netflix, getting groceries delivered to the doorstep. You're sitting behind cameras, which is what I'm doing right here, right now, talking to you through camera, and I'm hoping with the extra time you've got at home, you'll somehow stumble across this video. Even though it's the first one, I got 0 subscribers, and I'm probably just talking to myself right now. But all these trends, may or may not be a good thing depending on your point of view, but they're happening, and it's starting to get priced into the market. You're seeing a lot of these social distancing enabling stocks just starting to soar. Amazon's just taken off like a rocket ship. I guess more than doubled since it bottomed out in March. I mean, Zoom Technologies is zooming upward. Sorry for the bad pun, but that's just turning astronomical levels. And you see, like Peloton, the at-home exercise bike and classes. It's a hell of a workout. Riding one of those bikes, got on one a couple times, and after about 8 minutes of pedaling, your legs feel like spaghetti. So they're good, but is it going to keep trending upwards? I don't know. These stocks are expensive, but it's just the way it is. And today we're going to talk about a evil technology kind of coming out of all this, and that's the technology of contact tracing. Now, contact tracing isn't anything real new. It's been talked about for years now, but the movement's really starting to gain traction. As people try to think of ways to stop COVID-19. And how it works is contact tracing. It uses our cell phones, and the theory is, as you walk past someone, some program running on your phone realizes the two of you were near each other, and they'll make a note somewhere in the cloud that you two cross paths at some point. And now if that other person gets a confirmed test of COVID-19 and logs it, the program can alert you to quarantine, or maybe you should definitely wear a mask at all times when you're out in public. But really, if you get that kind of warning, you'd want to quarantine yourself for 2 weeks to make sure you don't expose any of your loved ones, don't contaminate anyone. And it's a noble goal, right? I would agree with that. It might be a little creepy though if you think about it. That means whatever program does the contact tracing, it's logging everywhere you've been, what time you went there, how long you were there, and you might even be able to cross-reference with your credit cards about what you bought, your spending habits. To some extent, Google already does this. You probably don't realize it. They have this whole file on every person, and helps the advertisers target you, and helps Google sell their ads for more than a competing service. Facebook does the same thing. I'm sure they use the same companies that scrape your data, create a profile, and help advertisers target you. Like I said, Google already does this. I don't know if I signed up for this or not, but I get this weird, kind of scary email every month that tells me how many places I visited throughout the month and how many of those places were new. So it'll be like, you went to 40 places, 23 of these places are new, and that means it tracks everywhere I've ever been and logs it. And I bet you that information is being sold to advertisers, and it helps kind of log you into certain files, and definitely affects the kind of advertisements you're seeing. And if you want to get a real conspiracy theorist, you can just imagine how a government would use these files to track that information. But we'll save that tinfoil hat stuff for another day. So the main number one reason why I don't like this contact tracing technology is that it simply doesn't work. Like, I like the goal behind it. I don't really like the creepy factor of it, because it's just going to get perverted going into the future. Like, sure, this case is to help you, but what's next is it's not going to go well. But we'll say after the day, it flat out doesn't work. You see, our phones use Bluetooth technology to enable the contact tracing applications, and we've all seen this Bluetooth logo. It's a little blue ovular logo with a white runic symbol inscribed upon it, and that just denotes that your device has Bluetooth in it. And pretty much every device any device that connects to the device wirelessly has Bluetooth in it. Like our smartphones have it, our wireless headphones have it, our keyboards have it, mice. Or even our cars are using it now to unlock the doors and start the engine. So you get the Bluetooth on your phone, it recognizes you're there, boom. Car starts trying to get keys out of your pocket, good to go. So Bluetooth does a lot of good things, but what it doesn't do very well is it doesn't precisely locate where we are. What I mean by that is Bluetooth is only accurate to about 15 feet. So it's not very good, especially because it's generally accepted that COVID-19 only transmits to about 6 feet out before the germs aren't as widely concentrated as they would be if someone like walked up and sneezed in your face, for instance. So it's not precise enough. You need to be within 6 feet to know if you've been exposed, but then the Bluetooth only gets you within 15 feet, so it's not gonna work out. What that could really mean is you could be walking on the other side of a road as someone else who you don't even know, but has contracted COVID-19, tested positive, logged it into the system. The system could alert you that you've been exposed to COVID-19 and that you should, or maybe the government would mandate you quarantine for 2 weeks to make sure you don't spread it to anyone else. And that'd be a huge inconvenience for your life for what's essentially a mistaken confirmation case of being in contact with someone else. And that'd be a terrible inconvenience for anyone to have to stay inside for 2 weeks and knock it out and not talk to anybody. Or, maybe even worse yet, you're walking down the sidewalk, some jag isn't paying attention, bumps into you, gets some spittle in your face somehow, and they had COVID-19 at the time they bumped into you, but your phone thought you were like 15 feet apart. And all of a sudden, you've been exposed, you've got it, and you're contaminated everybody around you, and you don't know it, and you weren't warned. And you thought you would be warned through this contact tracing, and you're not. So, I mean, it doesn't work either way. So that's why I'm against contact tracing. All right, let's get another sip of beer here. It just tastes so good. Anyways, so this contact tracing technology is about to get a major improvement, though, whether you like it or not. And this improvement is called ultra wideband technology, UWB for short. And what this is essentially like it's the evolution of Bluetooth. Anything Bluetooth does, UWB does better. And for the purposes of contact tracing, what that means is there'll be no more cases of mistaken confirmation. That's because UWB will precisely locate anyone or any device to within 1 centimeter of its location. So it's no 15 feet, 30 feet, mix up of did these devices cross paths or not. It is 1 centimeter. So if you're within 1 centimeter, you're right on top of someone, and your phone will know if you were within contact of them or not. 6 feet. I don't know how many centimeters that is, probably over 200, but, wide error margin. You're not going to have any mistake at that point. That means no more cases of mistaken contamination. Kind of rhymes. Well, actually, no, it doesn't. That might be the beer talking. But it flows off the tongue. So it could become a slogan for some anti-contact tracing campaign. We'll see. Probably won't. But anyways, the precision will have other applications too. Eventually, these chips will become very cheap to make, and we could see them going into like our keychain or our remote controls, so you won't have any more arguments about who lost the remote. You can just pop open your phone, it'll guide you right to the remote, and you'll know exactly who's sitting on the remote and denied it. So it'll save minutes of your lives looking for that remote. And UWB is coming to a cell phone near you soon. It's going to be in the Apple iPhone 12 that's coming out this fall. It's already leaked out that it's got a UWB device chip in it. Um, and once people see how amazing this technology is and all the applications that will be enabled through UWB in the iPhone, every other smartphone manufacturer is going to follow real quickly. So by middle next year, every new phone is going to have UWB in it, and it'll expand to, like I said, the remotes, keychains, and who knows what else. It'll definitely be in the Internet of Things devices as well, so they can communicate better than just Bluetooth, be more precise, and help the 5G enable the automated factory and all those futuristic things. But yeah, it's definitely going to be a huge trend going forward. How to play this. Before I get to mention, nothing you hear in this video should be construed as financial advice, even though I like to think I know what I'm talking about. The companies we mention may not be suitable for everyone, or anyone for that matter. I don't know. I'm just talking about a trend and talking about some technology and drinking some beer, so let's do your own homework. Yeah, leave it at that. Disclaimer over. But, there isn't really any way to make buku box office trend anymore. There's no pure play UWB chip manufacturer. Apple sounds like they're going to make their own UWB chip and will have the first major product release with that technology in it. But, nobody's buying an iPhone because it's got a UWB chip in it, right? I mean, they're buying it because they love the iPhone, the cameras, the iTunes or whatever, the iStore, whole universe. No one's buying it because the UWB is obscure technology, so that probably isn't a big reason for it. There's a company called Decawave that is leading the way in UWB manufacturing. I say was because they were acquired by a company called Qorvo, and this company Qorvo is a great play on 5G technology, among other things. Big semiconductor manufacturer. Apple's a big buyer from them, but it's hardly a pure play on that as well. So there's no dead set way to invest in UWB. You just kind of, I'm just sharing facts here, having a beer, having a good time. It's a beautiful day, finally cooling down as the sun sets. So we're just talking, having a drink. And as for the rest of the market, I'm feeling a little cautious right now. I'll be honest. Normally I'm pretty bullish because stocks go up, as the kids say as well. If you haven't checked out the Wall Street Bets Reddit, hilarious. But they have the saying stocks only go up, and that's really what you're seeing right now. Is you're seeing this huge melt up in all stocks, especially the Nasdaq. I mean, the Nasdaq is going up like 1% a day. It's just absolutely wild to see the kind of breakouts going. But like I said, it's because of COVID-19, and it's bringing all these technological trends. It's pulling them forward. Like, who thought at the end of the year you'd be doing Zoom happy hours with your friends that just live, a mile away? Like, before, you all were going out to the bars and happy hours and getting meals together. It was getting hard to do that for a while, and now we're seeing some restaurants close again, so we're probably gonna see more Zoom happy hours come up as well. And and that leads to, like, all of a sudden then you need more internet providers, so your internet providers become more important, or the cloud computing companies that make up the backbone of the internet. Like Amazon Web Services controls something, I believe the number is 43% of the world's internet traffic goes through Amazon Web Service. That's huge. I mean, Amazon is going to make a killing on this. And then you have the Google Cloud. They have a big part of that market too, and Microsoft Azure. So you're going to see more and more traffic and more companies buy space on these cloud computing services and buy processing power. And it's just what's going to happen. And that it proves that the 5G build out needs to happen even more, because our 4G networks are just getting overloaded. Like, I'm on 4G here. I have just the slowest internet connection I've had before. I've been on faster 3G, maybe even 2G, when it was barely even data. It is so slow because it's just overwhelmed. Like, they need 5G here in Tennessee. It would just speed things up so much, because you can't roll out can't roll out internet connections to each house. You can't roll the fiber optics to the house here. It's just not cost effective to roll miles of fiber optic cable just for one house. So you're gonna need to see like 5G. It'd be great if they had this, zoom into a tower, because there's nothing blocking the way between this place. Like, you saw how high up we are, just one tree here, but you put the 5G antenna on the roof, go out to a tower a few miles away, you have nothing in the way, it'll connect fine, not a problem, and it'll have enough bandwidth to make this happen. So you just have to understand that these rollouts can happen, and that's why technology is taking off right now, because all these trends are pulled forward. And that's why you see these 5G chip makers like Qorvo. It's just getting, it's rising. You're seeing Skyworks, and you're seeing NVIDIA, AMD, even Qualcomm is making the move higher. Like, you just see all these companies that can be enabling 5G and this rollout to help the communications and help the social communication happening now through this pandemic come alive. So that's why the Nasdaq's rising. But eventually, this pandemic is going to pass, whether it's this fall, this spring, whenever. The coronaviruses tend to mutate away, and as it mutates, they get a little weaker and weaker. And I hope that's what we see now. That's why the death rate was going down. Hopefully that continues. What we just saw earlier today was a small, blip in the stats. Remains to be seen. Who knows? But the market, I feel like it's gotten a little ahead of itself with some of these trends. Maybe we'll see some of the laggards catch up now, or at least not fall as far, so they might outperform. But anyways, I'm going off on a tangent here, talking about contact tracing and beer. So, I don't really like the technology. It doesn't work. I'll be excited when UWB comes out, and at least, like, if we decide to do contact tracing, it'll actually work. So I'll feel better about that. Still don't like the creepy aspect of it. And, that might be why I'm drinking a beer that's as heavy as a double IPA. I don't know. But anyways, that's all I got today. We'll have more opportunities going forward. But until then, cheers, brothers.